Welcome to 18th Century Cooking. I'm your host, John Townsend. I've got a special guest, Ivy, in the kitchen with me today. We'll be experimenting. We'll be trying to make wafers. Thanks for joining us today as we savor the flavors and the aromas of the 18th century. So we've got Ivy with us today. Ivy, are you excited about getting ready for Christmas? Yeah, so we're gonna make Christmas wafers. Well, let's hope we can make Christmas wafers. The wafer recipes that show up in the 18th century, they're all very similar. They're like a thin-ish pancake batter, right? So the problem is that most people do not have, I haven't heard anyone have good luck actually cooking them. And so many people will modify the recipe. They'll like make kind of a cookie dough and squeeze it between there and make wafer-like things, but they're not the wafer recipes that they show up in the 18th century. Now, this cookbook here is the Cooks and Confectioners Dictionary of John Knott. I think it's 1723, something like that. It's an early 18th century cookbook. It's got 4 recipes. Four wafers in it, 4 different recipes, and they're all very similar. And here's the first one as an example. Put the yolks of 4 eggs on and 3 spoonfuls of rose water to a quart of flour, mingle them well, make them into batter with cream and double refined sugar, pour it on very thin and bake it on irons. So it's a rich recipe. Egg yolks, not just eggs. It's got rose water. That's an expensive aromatic that you're putting in there. It's got flour, and it's got cream instead of milk, and double refined sugar. That means white sugar, not a brown sugar. But the fun part of this recipe is it says bake it on irons. That's it. That's it for the technique, which is what everybody has trouble with. Making the batter is nothing. Anybody can do that. Mm-hmm. So here's the second recipe. If you can see this, there's a first recipe. It's just like 3 lines, 4 lines long. Here's the next recipe. It's half the page. Yeah. And it's a very similar recipe at the beginning, but the last 3/4 of that giant page of text is about how to do it. So that's what we have to learn, not making the recipe, but how do we actually make these wafers?
So the ingredients we're going to be using today are a pint of cream, 2 egg yolks, and probably around a cup of flour, and a half a cup of white sugar. And the first thing we're going to do is mix our wet ingredients.
So let's start getting this mixed up. We're going to start off with our wet ingredients. Here, you go ahead and take this because you're going to do all that hard work. We just want the egg yolks. There you go. You can whisk that up. Very nice.
Add the cream in.
Yeah, so we've got a pint of cream. You know it's going to be good if it's got a pint of cream in there. Whisk that up very nicely. Now that that's, whisked up enough, I mean, we really probably want that a lot more whisked up, but we'll let Ivy keep going on that. Then we're going to put in some sugar. Off you go. Now, many of these recipes had the aromatic rose water or orange flower water shows up. Also, now today we wouldn't use something like that, but if we did want something similar, we would add in a little bit of vanilla, and that gives us our aromatic. We might add a little bit of orange flower water for the fun of it, but I'm not so sure.
Is that about good?
Yeah, that's gonna start going. Just keep on whisking. I'm gonna add flour in as we go. And again, we don't know exactly how much flour. Most of these recipes do not have amounts. They're very sort of add these 2 things together. So we're just gonna add flour in until we get to the right kind of consistency.
What's the consistency that we're looking for?
Well, some of the recipes call for a very thin batter. Other ones call for something like a pancake batter, and then they add more things to thin it out a little bit. So, but of course, we don't know exactly what their pancake batter thickness is. Ours tends to be kind of a fairly thick batter, but we're going to go for something. We're going to shoot for something pretty thin. Well, it's pretty thick. It's probably thicker than what they called for. And I don't want to cheat and make this too thick. I want to make it exactly like the directions as much as possible. So we're going to add a little bit of water in here to thin it up. Some of the later recipes, the almost 19th century recipes, say to have a little warm water set aside that you can add in to thin it. So you don't want it to be too thick. These recipes are great fun to read. They're hilarious. One of these recipes is like, well, mix the cream in the flour and then add more cream and then add more cream later on. So they're always fun. And we are definitely looking for something that, as it splashes up onto the sides, you can see, you can kind of get an idea of how smooth the texture is. And we want a very, very smooth texture on this. So and sometimes it says to beat this a long time. And that's just to get everything smooth, not necessarily to beat air into it, because we don't actually want it to bubble a whole bunch. We want it to be a smooth wafer. Well, the consistency looks right, so it needs to sit a little bit. Actually, though, there's one thing that's missing. This is an 18th century recipe. Most of the recipes, well, 2 of the recipes out of the 4, one had mace and the other one had nutmeg.
Well, you have to put the nutmeg.
Right, so we're gonna, and I think, boy, one of them, it was like a half on nutmeg. They wanted a lot of nutmeg in there to go along. And it is an aromatic too, just like that orange flower water and the rose water. There we go. Now you can whisk that in. And then we'll let this kind of sit, get smoother, kind of settle down a little bit. Now comes the tricky part. We have to get the irons ready. We got to get the fire ready so that we can start to cook them. So here is the irons that we're going to be baking in, and they've got this nice design in them. This is actually an old set of wafer irons, probably from the late 18th century, early 19th century. It's been cleaned up here so that we can use them. Beautiful design on the inside, nice heavy platters to hold that heat. And the interesting thing I think about this, one of the things about this recipe is that it is an expensive recipe in that it's got expensive ingredients. It's got expensive equipment that you have to have so that you can bake them. And they're something that takes some finesse, some real time to bake. So these are obviously something for a fancy household because of expensive ingredients, expensive equipment, and all the time it takes to make these fun little wafers. So I'm gonna get this on the fire to start warming up. They need to be probably around 350 degrees hot before we start to put the batter in. The recipe also calls for a simple small ball of butter inside the corner of a napkin to help butter your irons. Our wafer iron is almost up to heat. You would think you'd just pour that batter on there and everything would turn out all right, but that's not what I've heard, so let's read the directions. Having your wafer iron ready heated, rub on both sides from time to time with fresh butter put into the corner of your napkin. So that's what we got here. Turn the batter upon the iron, not exceeding a spoonful and a half for every wafer. Lay the wafer iron on a furnace. Now what we got here is a little trivet to hold that just over our coals, which would be like a little furnace or a little stove, sometimes it's referred to here. So that when the wafer is baked on one side, it may be turned upon the other. Open the iron a little and observe. If it come to a good color, it is enough. At that instant, you don't want it to burn, right? Take off the wafer from the iron with a knife, rolling it a little around the same. Then, last of all, spread the wafers hot upon a wooden roller made for the purpose to shape them and set them in a stove so that they may be finished and that they may be kept dry. So it's very complex, isn't it? It can't be that hard, right? So we're going to figure this out. We've got our wafer iron up to heat, and we're going to try spooning some of this on there and start to get these guys cooking. Oh, okay.
That's not gonna work.
So, I don't know if you could get more of a failure than that. It didn't do anything. There's nothing left. It all just boiled away. So, okay, that isn't gonna work.
Nope.
Now what? Okay, so I got what was left of that wafer off of there. I think it was too hot. And of course, the first time you try to cook one of these and you got too much butter on there, that's a problem too. So I'll let these cool off just a little bit. And Ivy, come in. Let's try another one right now. Okay, that's good. Okay. Well, there's more of it left than there was last time, but
yeah.
But it's, I mean,
It's kind of gooey.
That's not a wafer.
No, that's not a wafer.
That's like a lace doily. So, okay, that's not gonna work.
Nope.
So we could try thickening the batter, but that would be cheating. So we're gonna let this cool down a little bit more, and maybe I'm not gonna like slam it closed right away. So go ahead and let's try some in it, and then wait a second. Although the directions don't say that. Okay, so let's wait and see what happens.
Yes.
And now I'm gonna try it over the fire. So that one was slightly better. The doily was a little thicker, but obviously we're not there yet. It feels to me like maybe it's the pressure that is squishing all the material out.
You just need to barely lay it on there.
So I think that's what I'm gonna try maybe this time. That's good. Whoa, 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 not too much. I'm just gonna gently put it on the fire. Just slowly do it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Well, 2 hours later, and I think we've got it figured out. It took a lot of trial and error on this, and it seems to me that, I mean, it almost seems like it's just time. You just have to spend a whole bunch of time, and I'll bet you every time we'd come to this, the first half an hour, you think, what? It's not working, it's not working. And you just keep working at it. I think part of it is the batter rusting. And part of it is the irons getting into the groove and you getting into the groove exactly how much time it takes. I guess the real trick is to put that batter in there and not close them up real quick. Let them kind of slightly cook for a second. And then when you close it, you very gently close it. Because if you squeeze it at all, it just squeezes out and turns into
lace
doily. So let's try them out.
Yeah.
They look great, so let's try them out. We got a little bit of whipped cream. We've got a little bit of jam here, and I'm gonna try mine without any first.
I can pick this up here.
Reminds me of a modern vanilla wafers, right? Although there's no vanilla in here. I think it's that egg flavor. You get, I don't know if this one had very much nutmeg in it. Let me find one that I know had lots of nutmeg in it. We might have to add some to our thing with a little bit of whipped cream. Oh, wow. With the topping, they're tremendous. And
that jam is,
well, holiday preserves, whipped topping, they're fun. They certainly are a fancy little thing, perfect for the holidays. I'm not sure how you would do them in a modern kitchen without a set of irons. But they're so much fun, and they look They look really neat. If you're interested in this cookbook, this John Knott's cookbook, I think this is the one that had fried chicken in it too. Amazing cookbook from early 18th century with a lot of different kinds of recipe. It's a little bit harder to read. It's got earlier text font style, but it's still such a tremendous cookbook. This one's available on our website. You can make sure to check out the description. Ivy, thanks for doing all that work with the whipping it up and trying these out. Of course, everybody wants to stick around for the end to try them out, so thank you for that. Thank you guys for coming along as we savor the flavors and the aromas of the 18th century.